After weeks of protests and calls for racial justice, the man whose death inspired a movement, George Floyd, was laid to rest in a private memorial in Houston on Tuesday. This, of course, follows the 6-hour public viewing that also took place in Houston on Monday, which, by the way, thousands attended to pay their respects. Obviously, it's an emotional day for the family and friends of George Floyd, but it is also inspiring to see just what he has inspired in the last couple days, the last couple weeks. You know, obviously, I think for me, this feels like a huge turning point, and today is a celebration of his life.
No, for sure. The celebration, the fact that it's a celebration is very clear. He's getting royal treatment.
Yeah.
His daughter said it best, my daddy changed the world. And it's at this point, it's bigger than just George Floyd's life. And I think that's why everybody is so invested in being there for this family and also supporting them at the funeral. There's about 500 guests there today. Former Vice President Joe Biden also spoke at the funeral. Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx were in attendance. And reportedly, Floyd Mayweather actually was behind the finances when it comes to this funeral. What is beautiful about this is that he will be laid to rest next to his mother, who in his final moments, as we've all heard, was calling for her name. So there is a lot of emotions running high. Obviously, the casket was open when people first entered the funeral, which kind of reminds you of Emmett Till and how tragic that was for people at that time to see how damaged his body was from acts of racism. So yeah, it's an important day for all of us that have been following this story. It's the final memorial service for George Floyd after three of them.
Absolutely. And even though it is technically a private service, a private funeral for George Floyd's family and friends, you know, you mentioned Emmett Till, but we've also learned that the families of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor are also at the memorial service. Exactly, Michael Brown. And honestly, the families of countless Black Americans who were killed at the hands of police. And so in that sense, George Floyd's death, one, I hope is not in vain, but two, is so much bigger than him too. He's influenced an entire movement. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I want to touch on that because there are people that I've seen online that are saying, you know, he had a criminal background. Why are we giving him this martyr treatment? But it's not necessarily about that. It's about what it symbolizes, what his death has symbolized for this country. It has created a turning point for us, a huge shift, and that does deserve a celebration. And today we're seeing that.
And that's exactly why they got the Reverend Al Sharpton to deliver the eulogy. It was beautiful and it's perfect, you know, and it's very symbolic. Obviously, Reverend Al Sharpton was also on the front lines of the civil rights movement, you know, and you mentioned Joe Biden. They played a video message from him, but this comes after he actually visited with George Floyd's family in Houston on Monday. So obviously a lot of love and support going to that family. I want to kick it over to our very own Kevin Frazier, who spoke with CBS reporter Michelle Miller, who was the one who revealed to us that the families of Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery were in attendance, and just how different the funeral service today was from the public viewing on Monday.
So I'm at the entrance, really. We're the first presence when you drive onto the campus of the Fountain of Praise Church. The hearse has arrived. The body inside the golden casket of George Floyd has entered the sanctuary to prepare for the funeral itself. The difference today compared with yesterday is this is a private event. This is where family and friends, close friends of George Floyd will come to not only pay their respects, but to have a moment to just exhale. And they're doing it in the presence of the family of Ahmaud Arbery, the family of Breonna Taylor, the family, I'm told, of Michael Brown, and of Botham Jean, the families of many of those who have also died at the hands of police officers or people who felt as though they were deputized by a police department. This is a group of people who have suffered a loss in a way that no one else can understand. And so they wanted to be here to support the family of George Floyd the way that many people wrap their arms around them.
Among the stuff that happened in the service, you know, they also performed Sam Cooke's "A Change Is Gonna Come." And I really feel that. I really feel that in this moment, that a change is going to come out of this.
That was one of the most just heartwarming moments. You had the artist in the back. As the man was singing, there was an artist in the back basically drawing George Floyd's portrait with a piece of chalk. And then he turned it over, and then you saw that it was actually George. So that was a really powerful moment. That's absolutely for sure.
But it doesn't stop here. Once the protests end and once George Floyd is laid to rest, the work is far from over.